There ain't no place like home, they say. It's where I go to.
Welcome to episode 3 of the State Traditions Podcast, where we like to discuss the traditions and events throughout this amazing country of ours and what takes place and how our citizens like to celebrate different venues and events throughout the year.
This week, we're going to celebrate some events in the great state of Alabama, starting with a newer tradition located in Gulf Shores called Hangout Fest. We'll also be covering an older and truly unique tradition that is the Mullet Toss, as well as touching on Talladega, which will be coming next week.
Big weeks in Alabama.
Big week
coming up.
A lot of activities.
But before we get into that, let's give stuff away.
Let's do.
Yeah. It's getting warmer outside. We just had our last little cold snap. Everybody's going to the lake, going to the beach, going to festivals, going to races. Get some State Traditions gear.
Need to get some gear.
Get some Evolution Old Glory. Get some hats, ST logos, anywhere.
Get you a swimsuit.
Get a swimsuit.
Pair of shorts.
You can get all of that for
Polo
35% off if you use the promo code STPOD.
STPOD. 35% off. It's like we're giving it away.
Just what's your mailing address? I'll send it to you. All you got to do is fill it out online.
Fill it out online. You'll get you some great gear for your wherever you're going, whether it's Mullet Toss, Talladega, the lake, beach.
Or if you're going to Canada and need a
Family
pullover, we've got pullovers too.
We've got some pullovers, some last season pullovers on sale. Well, let's get into Hangout Fest. It's a 3-day music festival in Gulf Shores. It's become one of the premier music fests in the nation, and they compare it to Bonnaroo.
Bonnaroo, which is just one state above us.
It is. They also compare it to Coachella, same category as Coachella, Stagecoach, Austin City Limits, and this is a pretty big deal.
Pretty big deal.
What makes it different from the other festivals is that instead of being in a field, you're standing on sandy white beaches listening to some of the best music of the day.
That's hard to beat. Put a cold drink in your hand, that's hard to beat.
It's hard to beat. I understand why people like Hangout Fest. I personally have never been.
Maybe we need to take a trip down there.
Maybe we should do that.
Maybe we should.
I've heard there's 2 ways to watch Hangout Fest. You can get down on the beach, in the pit, if you will, and that's one experience. But then you can also, I don't know if it's a VIP or whatever the package is, but you can get up on this platform above the beach, and you have great views of the stage. I think you have some air conditioning, probably some tents over your head. It's a little bit more refined way to go to Hangout.
It's definitely grown over the last 8 years because it started in 2010 with the headliners of Zach Brown Band and John Legend. But why don't you tell us who's going to be there this year?
Well, this year we've got acts that some I've heard, some I have not. Kendrick Lamar, the Chainsmokers, the Killers, Halsey. Is that how you say it? Halsey? Never heard of that one. Logic, Zed, and T-Pain.
T-Pain. I got a funny story about Kendrick Lamar.
Let's hear that.
So when I was sitting in Charles Barkley's suite for the national championship game, I've got a video on my phone.
Is that Alabama, Georgia, and Atlanta?
Alabama, Georgia, and Atlanta.
Yeah.
I've got a video of Charles Barkley dancing to Kendrick Lamar in my phone. But
now that, if we could put that on the podcast, that'd be fun. We'll see.
We'll see.
It's
an exclusive look.
So what you're saying is that Charles Barkley stamps of approval for Kendrick Lamar.
He loves Kendrick Lamar.
All right. There's one vote for Hangouts Fest, Kendrick Lamar.
So who stands out to you on this lineup?
Well, some of the names that I'm familiar with, the Chainsmokers, the Killers, T-Pain, and the others. Kendrick Lamar I've heard of, but I've not heard of Logic or Zed. Maybe that's aging me or dating me, or just kind of tells on me for the genres that I listen to.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the chain smokers. Would probably be, if I had to pick one person to go down there and see, it'd probably be them.
The chain smokers.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a pretty good one.
What's the favorite like out of all the concerts you've been to?
Ever?
Ever. What would you rank number one?
Taking it back to, I guess, high school days, it'd be 90s, early 90s, late 90s, mid 90s. It'd be Dave Matthews.
That's a good one.
We did a lot of Dave Matthews concerts. And Dave Matthews, he's played at the Hangout.
He has.
So, how about yourself? What's your favorite concert?
I'd have to go Aerosmith. Just because Steven Tyler was out there and just
puts on a good show.
He's a performer.
If you can catch a performer, you're going to have a great time. It's all about the experience.
You know what else you should catch? Our ST promo code.
The promo. Let's get a promo. STPOD for 35% off any order at statetraditions.com. Visit our website, statetraditions.com. 35% off using promo code STOP.
STPOD.
STPOD.
POD. Either one, just see which one gives you 35%
Which one gives you
off.
35% off? Well, moving into spring break, let's talk about an adult spring break. Most spring breaks are geared around school. When the school break is, you get the week off. Well, this is not for children in school. This is the adult spring break, aka known as the Mullet Toss. It is an event that is held at the Floribama, it's a bar restaurant that straddles the Florida-Alabama line. And the event is so unique, it is something that you've got to see in person. You can catch some YouTube videos. You might be able to get a little bit of the flair, some flavor of what goes on. But it is an event where you take a fish, a mullet fish, and you throw it across the state line from Florida to Alabama, or vice versa, and they judge you in how far you can throw a dead fish.
Now, if you had to guess, how far could you throw a dead fish?
I'm thinking of football. How far can you throw a football, which is
A little bit easier to throw.
dynamically
probably.
designed if you throw it correctly. And you get a fish, which is one, slippery, and two, it
kind
a
of
little floppy.
awkward.
I'd give myself maybe a 20-yard throw.
That'd be pretty good, I think. I think
Might be
20 yards would be a pretty good toss.
I think it'd be a good toss.
Maybe we need to look up the world record for
the
the
mullet toss world
record.
record, which I'm sure there is one. So, have you ever thrown a fish? Have you ever tried or attempted to throw a fish?
I've thrown them back in after I caught them.
Sure.
That counts.
Yeah, well, catch and release.
But I have never thrown a fish.
I've never participated in the mullet toss.
Yeah, I just moved down here from Virginia, and that's getting used to this culture down here. A little different.
It is different, and Alabama, they've got a lot going on this particular weekend, and mullet toss is not just an event that day. It's got events throughout that weekend leading up to the big throwing event.
Yeah, they've got the polar bear dip, the mullet man triathlon.
So,
I wonder if one of the events is throwing mullet.
maybe
Maybe they switched out swimming with mullet toss.
Maybe so.
And a bunch of other charity events throughout the several days that it's been going on. But
So this event is held at the Floribama, which is it's a bar. It looked different years ago before the hurricane came through, but the hurricane came and took out a lot of the buildings and the structure that was there, and they came back in. I wouldn't say overnight, but pretty quickly they came back in with just trailers. So they've got trailers that are bars, they have trailers that are restaurants. You walk through this maze of bars and trailers, and it is the craziest setup. But all that to say, this is a charity event. So whatever you see going on the beach, whether there's sunbathers or vacationers or spring breakers, debauchery at the bars on 1 or 2 or 3, 4 levels of this place called the Floribama, it's all for charity.
that's pretty amazing. it's a pretty amazing event. Might have to go down there next year and check it out.
Yes.
But,
if you have not seen it, you're missing out, and it's something that would be worth the trek.
Something I'm making the trek to is Talladega this year.
Which falls on the same weekend as the Mullet Toss.
Now I've been to NASCAR events, but this is supposed to be the biggest and the baddest.
Why is that?
The parties on Talladega Boulevard with the Dega Club and just the biggest track with the fastest cars. From what I hear, it's the best party in NASCAR, but I guess we'll see.
So how many NASCAR events have you gone to that you're going to be able to compare to your Dega experience?
I've been to Las Vegas, Bristol, Martinsville, Charlotte. So I'm kind of called a plethora of different tracks.
Sure.
But
sure. Now I've heard at Dega, this was back in the college days. I know my brother went to the infield, and once you go in, you don't come out. Like, you spend the night in the infield. You're there for the weekend or week, however long you decide to go. And they went in with a bunch of guys, and they had their trucks and all their gear. And, you know, they started to run out of supplies a few days in. And the story that I heard, and I think probably holds true, is that you need to take a few extra cases of Budweiser, as that is the currency that is accepted on the infield at Talladega.
Budweiser.
Budweiser.
I'd probably accept it as currency as well.
You need firewood? You buy it with Budweiser.
I don't even think I'd
You need
have
some
to be.
food?
I don't think I'd have to be in
Budweiser.
Dega to accept it as currency.
Maybe. Well, you'll find out next week when you get to go over there. I'll say this: if you're driving down I-20, you do not want to get stuck in Dega traffic.
No.
You need to time your trip correctly if you're hitting I-20, because you will sit there for hours.
I wonder if Bud Light's like a cheaper currency. Is like a Bud Light at $5 bill when Budweiser's a $10 bill?
Like Budweiser is the Bitcoin,
Oh.
and Bud Light's Litecoin.
Oh.
Or maybe there's a Ripple in there.
Oh, Ripple? Where's like Natty Light?
Natty Light.
Pennies?
That's
like,
one that maybe Iota. Well, all that to say, we've got a lot of activity going on in the great state of Alabama between Hangout Fest, Talladega, and what was our third? Oh, the Mullet Toss.
And the Mullet Toss. Can't forget about the Mullet Toss.
There's a lot going on, a lot of things that people should look into, especially as the weather warms up. It was 80 degrees today, which is the highest it's been all year.
It seems that we're finally getting into the warm weather and ready to get to the beach, ready to get to the races and start the summer off strong here.
Absolutely, it's coming.
But
that being said,
you need some State Traditions gear to take out there with you. And how can you get that?
You can get some great State Traditions gear by using the discount code STPOD for 35% off your entire order at statetraditions.com.
Maybe a Patriot series, maybe nautical shirts if you're going down to the beach.
Nautical tees, we've got some new golf tees.
And who doesn't need another hat?
You always need a hat, keep the sun out of your face.
Yeah.
You should do yourself a favor and buy yourself a new State Traditions hat to keep the sun off of your face. You're doing yourself a favor. Protecting your skin. If you don't have sunscreen on all day, use the bill of your hat. Your dermatologist will appreciate it.
And feel free to tag us on social media and show us your sweet gear out at the Hangout Fest or Dega and give us some love on
or the
social
Mullet
media.
Toss.
Or the Mullet Toss.
If you're tossing mullet, please wear some State Traditions gear and tag us. We'd love to share that with
We'd love to see
our
it.
social media following.
Well, that State Traditions promo code is STPOD for 35% off, and I guess we'll talk to you next week.
Next week we'll be discussing the Players Championship, NFL Draft, and a few other fun,
And some Preds games.
probably some Preds games. Keep the tradition alive.
Yeah.
Talk to you next week.
Where